4 real horror stories. Story 1. The Nightmare. I have really terrible nightmares a lot. One reoccurring nightmare is about a shadowy figure standing near my bed. It thankfully hasn't happened in a while, but it always starts out the same. In the dream, I wake up from my sleep and see this shadowy blur in one corner of my room. I then actually wake up in a little bit of a panic, but eventually fall asleep. In the dream, I wake up again. I'm laying in my bed, and the shadowy thing is now closer and has formed into the shape of a human. I can never really make out any features, but eventually it's at the foot of my bed, just standing there watching me. There's something so menacing about this thing that every time I've had this dream, I've woken up shaking and screaming while struggling to turn my lights on in a confused state. In the dream, I know this thing shouldn't be there and is going to hurt me, but I can never do to stop it. I recently got a puppy, and now when I have nightmares, he moves from his normal spot near my feet and lays next to me while resting his head on my arm and licking my face. It's helped me a lot. Story 2. Noises behind the door. This actually happened to a friend of mine. She used to live in an entirely different town when she was younger, and her closet had this strange door in the back of it. Well, whether it was imagined just due to her being a child at the time, or if it really did happen, she started to hear noises coming from behind this door whenever she went to bed. She told me that several times she tried telling her parents that she was hearing these noises, but they never believed her. So some time goes by, and one day her parents get a call from the police because they just arrested a homeless man. This was not just any homeless man, though. This homeless man was living in some sort of tunnel that goes straight to that door in the back of her closet. So every once in a while, for whatever reason, this man would come through that door and watch my friend sleep in her closet. Story 3. A few years ago, my brother would get a call on his cell phone around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock a.m. every night. He would answer, and it was this hellish-sounding noise, like static mixed with screams. He changed his cell number after a month of this, and it stopped. Then, after a week or so, it began again. The exact same noise, exact same time. Finally, one day, he decided to backdeal the call. It was an old man that had no clue what he was talking about. Still, the calls persisted. If he didn't answer, it would call a few more times. No messages were left. He decided to say screw it. Ended his contract with his phone company, switched to a new one, and then got another new number. You guessed it, the screaming static calls continued after a short delay. By this time, he was terrified every night. Unsure why this was happening, he backdealed the number again and got a different person. Around this time, he lost his job and his phone. The calls stopped, of course. His phone was disconnected now. So one day, my mom asks me to listen to this weird message she got on our home phone. It was the static screaming. We showed my brother, and he was freaking out. He back-dialed the number again, and it said the number was disconnected this time. Never heard from it again after that. Story 4. Creepy Room. I was about 14, and creepy stuff had been happening in my room. Started with my TV turning off and on at random times of the night. Then it got worse. When I would wake up, there would be dirty handprints around the edge of my ceiling, like something was pawing to get out. Then the shadows just moving back and forth around the room. Then the real stuff hit the fan, one night tapping on the walls and scratching in the ceiling. Scared the shot out of me, but I still said nothing to my dad. Then it happened, and I could not tell anyone. I was just sitting there watching TV in my room, and in the creepiest voice I've ever had, "How are you today?" Like an old lady almost. Packed my things up and ran the fastest I've ever run down my stairs in my life. My brother was downstairs doing whatever when I basically fall down the stairs, physically shaking with him, asking what happened and why I was so freaked out. I told my dad about it, and he came home from work, told us to go see a movie while he worked his magic on my room. Everything was fine for many years, until I just heard 3 single taps on my wall a few days ago. Subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.